Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, your host, and this is the show that deals with how to fight CPS and get your children back. It is a secret, and this show right now is broadcast uh, through Facebook on YouTube. It's a live broadcast, and we're on here every day of the week, 7 days a week, and we have two shows. One at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and the other show at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This particular show deals with the social services that handles the children, the protection of our children and family reunification and what you go through. I'm a survivor of CPS. I was involved in CPS in 2015. It took 3 years for me to get my children back. And I've been involved with CPS for 9 years, not CPS, but with this, with CPS. And I've been talking to people on this show, um, uh, over 100 people at different parts of the country. And it seems like they have one thing in common: they're having difficulties with working with CPS and getting their children back. Now, we have several ways to react with this show. One way is you call 888-888-6582. That's my office number. And when you call in, say that Bob Pace sent you and that you want to be a guest speaker. Now, I do have guest speakers from time to time, or people that schedule a date and a time. So tell them what you like to, and then you can talk about your case, good or bad. And I want to hear some good cases as well as the bad cases, and we'll try to help you through it. Um, Another way to interact with the show is you can text a comment to me, and I'll review it, and then if it's appropriate, I'll put it on the show and we answer the question. It's very important you put your name, first name's fine, and you put the state you're calling from. And then you want to put down your question regarding a CPS, a Child Protection Service matter. Sometimes it's called a DCS or something else. There's different acronyms, but it all deals with a branch of social service that deals with protecting our children and family unification. These are for families that have children, juvenile children under the age of 18. And CPS is a part of social service, is a government institution. So, state your name and the state and the question, and I'll try to address it on the air. Also, if you are wanting to call and talk right now, I have another way you can interact with the show. You can call my office number here at 626-698-0990. And that number will be live for an hour for the show. It's always live during the show, but afterwards it's no longer live there. But you can call 626-698-0990. And you can talk to me about your matter, and we can go there. This show, by the way, is produced by Vincent W. Davis and Associates. It's a law firm that is based in Southern California, and I'm talking to you from Southern California. And this law firm has different kinds of laws that it handles. Mr. Davis is a family law attorney. He handles juvenile cases and CPS and dependency courts and things like that. He is a well experienced and been fighting CPS for a long time. He's a trial attorney, so he has trial experience. And he has fought CPS and won cases. He's also sued CPS and won cases for them being bad. So he can help you out with your case, and he worked in Northern California and all the other states, including Southern California. It all depends on the complexity of your case, and the location of your case will depend on the amount of the retainer fee. At this time, he's offering a free consultation for 30 minutes up to an hour, where he'll talk about the strategies of fighting CPS and getting your children. Looks like we're maybe got a guest speaker coming in. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, he can be reached at 888-888-6582. And you can schedule a time to talk with them. It's a 30-minute up to an hour free consultations to talk about the strategies of how to get your children back and how to fight CPS. For those that have scheduled and you weren't able to show up or there was some breakdown, please reschedule again. My apologies go out to you, um, because this is something that you should take advantage of, because you'll see that CPS is not your friend. CPS is a very scary thing that happens to you in your life. You're concerned about your family. You're distressed about your family. Something has happened. Some allegations have come in, whether true or not. They've come in. And the bottom line, or the hard thing to do, is the first step in this case is when allegations come in, the social service required by law to investigate the allegations. And also, when the allegations come in, they're presumed to be true. And if they're presumed to be true, then what will happen is that you are guilty before you're innocent. And so during the investigations, they'll try to gather evidence and prove that they are true. Depending on the severity of the thing is going to depend on CPS's more involvement and so forth, because there is bad things happening to our children. It seems like parents are spending less and less time with their children and giving them phones and access to adult things that early in life. We as parents need to start taking care of our children, be responsible for our children. Today in Congress is discussing the social media CEOs are there to answer questions about their concern about the increase in suicide, mental health problems, and the shootings that take place in schools. All used the media surface and the social media thing. They all are having issues and problems and lack of control. But we don't forget our parents is where it starts at. That is the whole thing about family. We're born in this world without a manual of how to take care of children, how to raise children, how to do our relationships with our other half, whether we're in a married relationship or living together relationship, whether we're partners, whether we're a single man or a single woman raising our children. It's very hard to raise children. I have 6 children in my family, and they're in 2 groups. I have an older group and a younger group, and um, it's a horrible thing when you suddenly get inundated by CPS. I did not know about how difficult it was until I started trying to fight them and try to get back to them and so forth. Um, for you that Mel that you're trying to get in, I don't know if you're ready to go live or not. I can add you to the show. Um, there, Mel, if you're ready to go in. It's Mel V is trying to get on the show. We do have somebody that's scheduled to talk. Um, so, with that being said, we'll continue to be open to Mel coming aboard to talk, and when he does, I can have him talk to you. But what I'd like to talk to you about, and I try to do the shows a little bit differently, I do have topics that I research, and I try to relate my involvement in CPS to your involvement there, and maybe some things that I did or didn't do could help you. One thing I learned a very valuable lesson. I waited really late to get a lawyer involved. Yes, there's the public defender, but I know all you are going to experience hardships. We all are experiencing hardships. Right now, we're being inundated by the mass people coming into the country that are taxing social services. Uh, we also have the escalation of prices. Things are really expensive. I don't know where you live, but right now I'm paying, uh, you know, uh, $4 for a gallon of gas and $4 for a gallon of milk. Now, I never can believe that milk could be just as much as gas. It's just unbelievable. But uh, I know it's a struggle out there. But I did not have an attorney, and my uh, halfway through my 3 years with them was uh, disastrous. Disastrous is not the word. It's a scary thing when they come into your life. It really is. There's the allegations are made, and the allegations are presumed true by CPS, and they're going to try to investigate and also try to save your children. What had happened was, is that they um, took my children based on false allegations and took away from my wife and us. We've been a family for a long time. At the time, our children were 9, 12, and 15. And of course, our older children were much older. And that's because I had a previous marriage. And so, and my wife had children too previously. So we both collectively have 6 children. And so with our 3 children, they were taken out of. Now, you're probably wondering why would they be taken out of? Well, at age 60, I lost my job. I had been working since I've been 15. I'm 74 now, and I had a job recently and I got laid off again. And again, the times I'm laid off or without jobs is a fault of my own. For a long time, I'd worked 30 some years in civil engineering, and I had moved to a new position at the age of I think it was like age of 59, and it was an advancement for me. And so I went and worked for a company, and I got work for the company, and I had all these public contracts. I worked in construction, building roads and highways, heavy civil engineering, and these contracts I got. There was a niche that the company was trying to get, and so I was able to pull in work. I was working as a senior estimator, manager of civil engineering, and I was generating sales. And so I had my share of the bargain of getting the work, but then I was trying to execute or do the work, and the contracts I got failed. Because why? They're public funds. They shouldn't have failed. Well, the state of California was getting really crafty and decided to write IOUs on public fund jobs. They were going bankrupt, and that was about the time 2010, 2009. They were really hurting. So they were cutting areas, and another area they hit was social services. And I didn't know the two would be connected there. So what happened was is that the governor was using funds, and he decided to lay off the social services that were experienced social service caseworkers and replace them with young and least expensive social workers. And to me, that is a mistake. You need experienced social workers that have been uh, working a long time, that know how to work with families. My social worker was very immature, very young, in her early 20s, didn't have experience. She didn't have a family. She didn't know, and she's making, uh, you know, decisions with my family. And you, as all parents, know how important your family is. And they were trying to do all kinds of things based on allegations. And you're probably wondering, well, what kind of allegations? Well, there were stupid allegations that came in. My wife's family, who we found out later had made these allegations because when I lost my job, they were trying to take our kids away. I had a beautiful home, I had money saved up, and I could still take care of my family, but I had to go to more of a Spartan lifestyle, meaning we couldn't afford the trips or the Disneyland passes or those kinds of things. And so, you know, my children were excellent in school. They were A's and B's, and one was going to a private school, had an elementary student and a middle school and a high school. And they really had aspirations to do well in their life. We were a family that had love for each other, that we did family outings and so forth. And because dad lost his job, and at age 60, it's very hard to get work because somehow the workforce don't believe that older people can work a job. I don't know what it is, but maybe there's something, whatever it is. But 5 years later, after the numerous allegations by my wife's family, they're investigating, and um, it came really bad. And see, it started really at the beginning because when I met my wife, and we've been together for 30 years. They didn't want me to marry her. They didn't want their daughter to marry me, and didn't want me to marry her, and they didn't show up at the wedding, which is pretty traumatic. And I later found out, and my wife has found out, that she was abused and neglected by her family members. And that is something that we learned. One thing it does is that CPS will educate you. And the only problem being is that instead of it being an honest agency, a transparent agency, and working to what they call family reunification, they do just the opposite because they've discovered a money making business. It's $1 billion business that social services is doing with child protection services. And what I mean by that is that they get federal funds and state funds if they take away your children. I shouldn't say steal your children. They're the only entity I know of that can legally steal your children and get away with it. And what I mean by that is they'll make horrendous stories. It seems like they have thought that all parents are bad. We got someone texting in there. Oh, Melinda Lilly, are you taking calls currently? Yes, I am. Doris, Melanie Lilly, where are you from? If you wanted to call in. Red Sky. Okay, hi. Thank you so much for your advice, guidance, and help. All us parents be lost without your help. Well, thank you so much there. That was from Red Ski there. Um, so, Melody, if you want to call in, you can call in. Um, we'd love to have you talk. You can call in to 626 698 0990, and we can hear your case in there. Okay, you're from California. Good to welcome aboard. What I need you to do is to call that number right away, and I can take your call if you call that number right away. That's 626 698 0990. You're in the Bay Area. That's fine. That's fine, but you can call down there. Melody, put your comment on the screen there so you can call in right now. You can call in right now. It's 626 698 0990 if you want to talk. If you want to listen, that's okay too. And I can continue on with my story and matters relating that. Red Sky or Red Ski, I'm from Australia. Okay. Um, I'm from Australia, but it's happening here to see people, to my kids, uh, all four boys, 7 months. They're trying to get the 16-year-old, 18-year-old order. I'm fighting it. Even if I lose, I'll never give up on my kids. I hear you, Red Ski. I don't know. Um, I have not had anybody from another country really call in that has a CPS matter. It is probably a worldwide thing. There is a necessity to protect our children. Her horrific acts of child cruelty, and I live in an area that is number one in stealing children for the slave trade, and they're shipped off because I live near a coastal port with containers coming and going, and they will kidnap their children in this area. It's a very well-to-do neighborhood, and they will kidnap them, put them on a container, and then several months later, they're in some place in China or something, and they're working in prostitution or as a slave in somebody's rich home, So Red Ski, there's that problem there. So um, I don't know uh, if you could tell me what your question is, either Melanie Lilly up in the Bay Area, California, or Red Ski in Australia. You could type in there. Maybe I can help you out there. So you're going to find out that allegations are what really gets in the way. And with me, for months, I was trying to answer them. I couldn't figure out who's doing the complaining, but I later found out. And it was horrible to find out. It's the most horrendous thing. Then you find out that your own family, who's supposed to be supportive, oh, we're going to punish Bob because he lost his job. He can't get a job and he can't keep his family in the lifestyle that he had there. I still had food on the table. I still took him to school. In fact, it was nice because I wasn't working and I could interact more with my kids. I was working 60 hours a week. Yes, I was making a good income and everything, but I thought I'd find work. And as I say, 5 years later, at 2015, CPS finally tricked me and duped me into um, getting into my home and stealing my children. And it's a horrific thing to have your children stealing for things there because there are parents that do drugs. You can't do drugs and have 18-year-olds in or less than 18-year-olds in the house. You can't have older adults with young children that are doing drugs. Drugs is a no-no. And I'm talking about the drugs, even including marijuana, which some areas is legal or stuff like that. It's too hard. That's why we have rules about smoking cigarettes and things like that. So drugs is a no-no, and right away CPS thinks everybody does drugs, and they want to drug test you and everything. That wasn't my case. Um, the allegations were coming in that I wasn't paying the utility bills, which is from the truth because I have all the bills that show they are being paid. All my electricity, everything were taken together. Um, I was also in a kind of a perfect storm where my parents were dying. And in 2015, um, I went and took my parents' belongings, and that's kind of what CPS didn't like. But anyway, they wanted to liquidate their home. I didn't have money for storage. They wanted to give their belongings to somebody. I very tightly, neatly put the things in my garage apron, and it's where I could places my house. But I live in a private neighborhood and they don't allow you to have things like that. So they told me they had to be behind my fence, in my yard, or in my house. And so I did so. But that clutter of belongings belonging to a loved one, even though they're stacked nicely or safely, or and you got furniture and boxes, they said that's a form of neglect. They say that those boxes could harm the children. And I still to this day don't understand that. And that was the only thing. And so um, every time I did talk to him about the other charges, I showed him they're wrong. At first, when I first started complaints, I did leave them in my house. There's nothing to hide there. But with my parents' belongings, I didn't no longer let them in my house because I knew that they would say something about that. Okay, good. We got a call here from somebody. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Who's this?
Melanie Lilly.
Okay, glad you could call in, Melody. And it'd be really nice to hear your story and your involvement. I understand you're in the Bay Area in California, and you have a CPS matter, and you need to start from the beginning and tell me your situation, whether you were married, you had a husband, or your partner, or were you, and how many children involved, and the allegations, and then start from there. Okay?
Okay. Um, I'm. I was with a domestic partner. Um, I am legally still married, but not to the partner I had the domestic violence with.
Okay.
Let's see. So my last attack was December 19th of 2023, and CPS got involved because while I was getting attacked, my child was injured in the process.
Oh boy, what? So the allegation is physical abuse?
Not for me, no.
No, I meant to your children.
Actually, no. So CPS is just easing what I don't know what they have for him, but for me, the charge they're trying to bring against me right now is, hold on 1 second. The child's mother, Melanie Lilly, has placed the child at ongoing risk of physical and emotional harm as she has engaged in acts of domestic violence in the presence of the child.
Yeah, that's the big one, and that's one that was kind of like developed with my case too. You're not supposed to argue in front of your children. That's a form of domestic violence. It doesn't have to be physical, but the yelling, the parents learning not to control their anger and yelling and shouting is not good with young children. It harms them a lot. Plus, it alienates the parent from the child because now they suddenly have to pick out what parent. Now, I understand you're going through a custody battle with. Is this the father of your children? I'm sorry, we lost
I
you.
believe our call dropped.
I'm sorry, who's this?
Melanie, I think
Yeah,
the call
hi,
dropped.
Millie. You were talking and then suddenly you dropped off.
Yeah, the call had dropped. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I'm not. It's technology and it's like that. Uh, so you were yelling with your partner. Was this partner the father of your children?
Of one of them, yes. And actually, in the video, since I had cameras in the house, I wasn't arguing at all. I
Okay.
wasn't verbally arguing or physically.
Right. How many children does this involve?
Two, I have an eldest son that's 13, and
And
my youngest is, he'll be 2.
okay. So these are by two different fathers?
Yes.
Okay. Is the father of the older child still involved with you or is he gone?
No, he's been out of the picture since 2022.
Okay. And so you have the father of the young child that you're going through the custody battle with. Because he wants the child and you want the child, or is this a custody battle? Oh boy. I don't know if you're still hearing me on this, but apparently the lost the connection again. And that's why it's best to call in to this 888 and schedule a time there. It sounds like, here we go again. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm sorry. Who's this? This is not the previous person.
Hello? Yes, it's Melanie Lilly.
Oh, okay. You're at another phone number. Okay. I see. Okay.
Yes, I have 2 cells.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right. I just want to make sure I'm doing with the right person that called in. Okay. We were talking, and apparently you have a custody battle with the husband of your youngest child, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's gotten so messy that there's been accusations of domestic violence with arguing and yelling. Is that what? And you're not doing it, but they allege you are doing it.
And physical.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And where are the children at the moment? Are they still with you?
No. So CPS had. So here's how it went. CPS has wanted me to remove myself from the house the day of the attack, which was December 19th.
Okay.
And I did that day. They approved a hotel for 3 days, so from the 19th to the 22nd.
Okay,
I
so
had a safety.
now
I'm sorry,
who was in that hotel with your children?
just me and my two children.
Okay, so they went ahead and helped you out, which is a good thing. That's one of the positive things I heard that CPS is doing.
Oh, they didn't help me with that. I had to call a friend from the family.
Oh, okay. Well, you did a remarkable thing because usually CPS tries to take the children to put them in their custody and they'll put them in a shelter, then later in a group home, and then into a foster care, and then have them adopted out. Their whole purpose is to make money off this incident at the expense of parents and children. Um, this
Right.
may
I
this
know
may
that
be
with
the
with the
case, may not be
trafficking
the
and everything.
case, but every story I've heard has told me the same. Whether you're calling from Florida or even calling from the Rosebud Indian Reservation, the Lakota Sioux in South Dakota, I've heard it all. I've heard it all. And so far, everybody has something in common where CPS is trying to prolong the case and everything. And the whole purpose of that is that it's $1 billion business, and it's sad because they're actually stealing your children, and it's the only entity that I know of that legally can steal your children. Now, you were smart to get them out of the house and into a hotel, and that was good. And then um, after that, they probably had a planning meeting where the children are going to stay for a longer period of time. Did they have that planning
Right. The
meeting?
safety. That was the safety meeting. So that was on December the 21st, which was also
Okay,
my son's birthday, which was the day they took my children away.
okay, okay. So,
So we went to the safety meeting. I ended up having like a panic attack because from the time the meeting started, they just kept trying to talk about taking my children. So I went for a little walk or whatever. The supervisor, the CPS supervisor, was there. She wouldn't let me back in the room. They continued the meeting like 50 minutes without me. Um,
why did they
the
continue without you?
I have no idea. Literally, I was under a stress panic attack and had to go walk. Like I started hyperventilating and crying in the room.
I don't blame you. It's a
They
very
told me,
traumatic experience, but one thing with this safety meeting, they should have everybody present. They should have not only you as the parents, they should have the children present so they know what's going on. This protection of the
right,
children has already gone too far. The children already know what's going on. Children are not dumb, and they know what is going on. And for them to use a ruse that we're trying to protect the children or the mother is too emotional. No, purpose of the safety meeting is so that you can. They feel it's extremely volatile to have them at the home, so they want to put them someplace safe, like a family member, an aunt, a grandmother, a brother, an older adult, 18 or
right.
older,
Now the
that could.
downfall to that is my mother literally just died from cervical cancer, and before her, my father had died a year, 2 years before.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry for your
It was right
losses.
before my son was born. So she died
Okay,
2022.
okay. So, did you have any other family members you could put your children with?
Unfortunately, no, because my little sister called and threatened me the night before the safety meeting with CPS and was also trying to be a third party to the father and me. So that excluded her
Yeah.
out. My older sister and my older brother were online talking about I deserve what I'm getting.
Right, right.
Everything.
It's very
So when I
distressing.
say I have no friends
Yeah,
or family to rely on,
right. Well, it's very distressing because you're trying to make it safe for your family. At the same token, you have a relationship that's become very hostile, and you've had to move out. And it's an emotional time for everybody. And it's wrong that adults can't sit down and do a timeout and like they do with their children, do a timeout themselves, regroup, and then talk about it without have to argue about it. But it's not going to happen because there's anger management. There's a course you take. It's a year long about anger management, and that helps you a little bit with that particular course with anger management. But you're probably in a situation where you think about ever hiring an attorney.
so from what I hear from the parental partner, the parental parent partner, the provider, the attorney I have isn't just a regular court appoint court appointed attorney. She actually has her own litigation office. Litigation office, sorry.
Okay. So,
but when I say she is chick, like she doesn't communicate. She hasn't sent me the paperwork from our last court date, which when I say I'm in court every Wednesday between the restraining order and juvenile court.
Right. Right.
She wants me to take a charge right that charge I just read, talking about that I deliberately were putting my children in harm's way and in danger when I've actually been trying to get into domestic violence shelters, homeless shelters. I have proof of all of this. I don't qualify for any female women's domestic violence shelters because my eldest son is a 13-year-old male.
Okay.
Getting into homeless shelters in California, especially in the Bay Area, is hard. So many homeless in the streets, let alone the shelter workforce.
Right.
Any other assistance from shelters I've been trying to get into, but if it's a male and female shelter, really not trying to go to that. But I haven't even had an option to actually get into one to say no.
Right.
Which is another side.
Right. I want to break for.
I have my own concern. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to break for just a moment. I'm going to do a simple little commercial here. This show, by the way, is produced by Vincent W. Davis and Associates. Vincent W. Davis is a family law attorney. He offers a free consultation for 30 minutes up to an hour. He's an experienced lawyer. He's a trial lawyer. He knows all about family and law. He's won CPS cases, and he has fought CPS civil-wise in one cases also. To schedule a free consultation with him, 30 minutes up to an hour, you want to call in 888-6582 and mention my name, Bob Pace, and schedule a time to meet with him, and he'll go over the strategies of how to fight your case and how to help you. If you like him, you can retain him. He works in Southern California, but he'll do Northern California, and he'll do all the 50 states.
I've actually contacted him, trying to get him
right.
to at least start to view my case. He didn't say they had the free consultation, though. He actually tried to charge me $1,000.
Well, I don't know where the mistake laid down, but I'm told that he'll give you a free consultation for 30 minutes of air to talk about the strategies. Have you had that yet with him?
No, I haven't had that.
Well, I apologize because that's what he is offering, and I don't know how you got onto something different there, but he does offer that service. Again, you can call and say you spoke to Bob Pace and that you want the 30-minute to an hour consultation with Mr. Davis to talk about your strategies. Okay? So I want you to do that. But now, with the remainder of the time show, we have less than a half hour left. Melanie, what I'm trying to understand is that you've had this safety meeting. So where did the kids get put after the safety meeting? Where are the kids now?
With his parents.
Okay, so they had this safety meeting, and the father of the young child. Now, the father of the older child is not involved, right?
No.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the children together. And I'm surprised that they have not reached out to the father of the older child, or why the child can't be in your hands. But I guess you have a problem with a home to house them, right?
Technically, no. So.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised. Yeah. Now, why did they put them with the father's family members? Oh, because your family members, you have nobody there. That's the hard thing is.
I have no family.
Yeah,
right.
That is really tough on you. And do they know that you're going through a custody battle in family court with your partner? They know that, or?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. That's I already had fell out with my older brother and sister, but my youngest sister I still kind of were on good terms with. But literally
Okay. Okay.
and left it on my voicemail box, like threatening me, threatening to contact CPS, talking about the father of my child, all of that. So I'm like, no,
Okay.
like
Okay.
no. CPS was like, you don't have anybody, and I was like, have you ever heard anybody ever say they never had nobody and then actually had nobody?
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of lonely souls and going through a horrific thing. We have the mass uh, immigration, people coming into our country with open borders. So we have millions and millions of people that want to live here, and they're interfering. Well, I shouldn't say interfering, but they're complexing things because we have family members that don't have homes, that have come from broken homes and so forth. We have a lot of mental health cases, and we have a lot of social strains on everything. It really is a big nightmare that we have going on. So right now, um, and the problem is that CPS is not your friend. They're not
No, very
transparent.
much so not.
They're not transparent. They'll use deceptions and they'll lie to you, which is sad. And I've gone through several social workers. I've gone through supervisors. I went to the top dog in my county at his Taj Mahal building, and it was useless. It goes in one ear and goes out the other ear. They will fabricate stories that are good. There's that problem with um, there's the problem. I have somebody from 706-949. I can only do one call at a time. So um, hopefully they will drop off. So are you still with me, Melody?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me,
Okay, good,
I'm
good. I
I
want to
heard
make sure
you have
I have
you have a couple calls.
I don't know if your I don't know if your partner's trying to call me or not. See, that's the problem is that we're on a public domain Facebook, and right now all of them, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of them, Instagram, are being right now going through Congress about why they have no protection for the children, because right now we give everybody a phone, and we have no control over our kids and how they use that phone or the social media, and they don't control their social media because everything's
Well,
on there.
technically, yeah, but I control my kids' social. Well,
No, I'm not
I
saying
know
this is not
have
directed
social
towards
media,
you.
but I
I just
control
said
the
that
phone.
there are a
But yeah, I get what
majority.
you're talking about. These kids
Yeah,
connected with the electronics.
right.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Well, when
wrong.
I grew up, there was no calculators. It was slide rules, and when there's no phone. I mean, I grew up in the seems like the dinosaur ages, but anyway, I've kept up with the times. But it seems like a lot of our social issues, a lot of our problems, is based on communication, and there's a lot of anger and frustration because it's hard to take care of a child. We don't have a manual that tells you how to take care of a child, or a manual about relationships, and love gets in the way, and we do foolish things and silly things. We do learn hopefully from our mistakes, but you got a tough case. Your case is so tough because you were trying to take care of a custody matter with another. Were you married to this man that's the father of your young child?
No.
Okay, so that's a little bit easier because you don't have to go through divorce and all that thing in family court. There's probably so you have a restraining order against you.
No.
You have a
No,
restraining order
against
against
me.
him, then,
I
right?
have a restraining order against the father.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is good. That's good, and that's a separate court. That's a civil matter. The only problem is he's not guilty until he's proven guilty. Where in dependency court with children, you're guilty until you're proven innocent, and you're only guilty because you argued. And a lot of people think arguing is not a domestic violence to children, but it is. You cannot argue in front of your kids. That's the law there, and so
Very true.
um,
Which is why I wasn't arguing, and it's also on camera in the videos and the proof of evidence.
right. But then you're going to need an attorney, and your problem is financially. You probably can't afford a good attorney because the public defenders they give you aren't worth anything because they are just that, a public defender. They have 20 some cases, so they don't have much time for your case. and they're going to try to settle things a little less. When you pay for an attorney, if they don't perform, you get rid of them. But also with a public defender, you can get another public defender if you don't like the one you're with. One guy from North Carolina said he went through 37 public defenders to get one that would work for him. So you can ask for that. Um, the other problem you're going to be facing is in dependency court, the judges are not necessarily qualified to be a judge, and they're friends with the social workers attorneys and friends with the public defenders. So there's a conflict of interest. So you're going to find out that there's a lot of things working against you. You know, you have a strong desire to make sure your child's safe and goes to school and raise them right. And that's admirable. That's admirable because a lot of people won't abandon their children. And that's why social services are around, because they're trying to take care of abandoned and mistreated children, which there are a lot around. And the only problem is everything's gotten so lax. There's no accountability for CPS. They're just giving money, and they just arbitrarily give money. It's ridiculous the things that they do, and that they get away from you there. So I had to sell my home. I had to get rid of everything to get money to get an attorney. But the only way I got my two of my three children back was because of an attorney who had the knowledge of the laws and knew how to navigate through CPS. That's the hardest thing, is the navigation through that. I can tell you the steps. I can tell you what not to do. Um, are you American Native Indian by any chance?
So on my in my family on my mother's side, yeah, I have to still get work done for it.
Did they talk to you? Did they talk to you? Did CPS talk to you about ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act? Yeah, they. If you have the name of the tribe, they're supposed to reach out. The reason why I bring all that up is that the tribes take better care of their children than CPS does. And what I mean by that is that law in 1979 said that CPS, if the child is uh, a Native American Indian, or it could be registered as a Native American Indian, that they are turned over to the tribe for them to help out with your issues there and help you get better way in there. So the American Native Indians take care of their own. The only problem is you got to be registered or be one there, and most Indians didn't keep very good, well-written records. So I'm a Lakota Sioux, by the way, and I tried to use the ICWA, but I couldn't get me registered as Lakota Sioux because my great great grandmother, her records were kind of hidden by my family because they didn't believe in the American Indians back there. She was from the 1870s and on up there, but she I couldn't get that to help me. But I just brought that up because for some of you listeners out there, if you're American Indians or it could be registered as American Indian and have Indian blood in you, then you could have your children be handled by the tribe instead of CPS. So let me see here.
Yes, I'm pursuing that as well. I'm mainly trying to, because how many laws they broke. So when they took my children, um, one, I didn't get a departure from them from the CPS building. So the day they took them on my son's birthday, I didn't get to celebrate birthdays, 4 days before Christmas. They didn't give me a goodbye. And then they withheld my children from me 6 days after that to the next court date. When I say I didn't have any information, they didn't want to text back, they didn't want me to call, they wouldn't let me wish them a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. So then the judge also brought that up in court because she couldn't understand why so many of my laws were being broken, so many of my civil rights were being broken and violated. And because of her bringing that up in the courtroom, since then, CPS has been literally trying to bring charges against me because of what they did. So I have a legal turnover from the judge my children, but they don't want to give them to me.
Have you completed everything they asked of you?
Yep.
Now this person that's helping you out with the case, um, is there any new evidence or changes that you could submit to the court? Because there's a form called uh, 388. And it's a petition, and you can change the current plan or have it withdrawn if you have new evidence, um, or something that has changed drastically that could turn the kids over to you. You can mention to her about the 388. It's a petition, and if you have this thing that's different like that, they can cancel the plan you're on now and come up with a new plan. So
Okay.
write down the 388. That's a petition. But that's based on new evidence and new information and so forth that needs to be submitted to the court. You see, that's the purpose of attorneys are. It's like if you don't get an attorney, it's like you trying to be a doctor doing open heart surgery on yourself. Attorneys are like doctors. They're precision, and good attorneys are. But like anything, there's always bad attorneys and good attorneys. And sometimes you have to interview 3 or more to find a good attorney. And I always look for ones that are experienced. But then the other part of the equation is how do they get the funds to finance that attorney? Because some require retainers, money up front to start the case and fight the case. It's very rare you'll find a good attorney doing pro bono. Maybe in a lawsuit.
From what I'm looking up, the attorney that I got, she works for Card Law Firm, and it's a 4-star rated. It's a family law in Contra Costa County. They're located in Walnut Creek. The lawyer I have right now, her name is Susan Card.
I see.
She was right. She was court appointed, but she's not a regular defense attorney. She's an actual.
Well, it's good. Well, mention to her. It sounds like you got some new developments or new evidence or change. You need to change that plan, because you could say all my required parent classes are complete, or all my required part of the plan's complete. That is new, and you need to file that 388. There are other.
We're still trying to come up with the language right now. It still hasn't been brought to trial as well. So they're trying to come up with the language for everything, which could be today. I actually have court at 1:30. And if we don't agree upon a language, then we're going to take it to trial.
Okay. Yeah. So, have you had the dependents hearing?
Say again?
The dependents hearing? That's where they bring you together and state your plan for your case to return your child.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I've already had that.
Okay, then we need to.
All of that, and the judge actually gave these people a turnover.
Right.
And they yet to turn over my children.
Well, then they need to do that 388. That may help you. File that 388 because you've completed the plan, and you want to change and exit and have your child back. Now, is that matter with the restraining order still open?
Which matter?
The restraining order, is that still open?
Yes, that's actually currently still going on court.
Okay, they may not want to release the child until that is over with. So they're hanging their hats. It's an excuse for them to make more money by keeping their child in the system. So they're waiting for the outcome of that, which is sad to say because it is a tough thing you're going through. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. They usually try to, with my case, there was criminal charges filed by the prosecutor in the city that weren't good, and all they did is kept the case open for a year, and my dependency court wouldn't settle my matters with my children until after that case was held. It was like, if all your listeners out there, if your case is complicated where there are criminal charges filed against you, and um, they're in a criminal court, the child protection services, the social workers will hold off finishing the dependency case into the civil matters taken care of, the criminal matters taken care of. So that's kind of like they want that all settled because um, it it is the way the legal system works. It's really tough. So in my case,
Right, and I can
I was
attest that
stuck.
my safety plan in the safety zone isn't even in the same city, let alone the same county.
Right, right. And so with that being said, you have to wait to the criminal matters taking the restraining order. Plus, you need to think about, and I hate to say that because that's your home area, but if this guy, he's going to stalk you, even though if the case has a restraining order, it's going to make your life bad. It really is going to make your life bad. And so, if you have a relative somewhere else that you can move to their city, their neck of the woods, and get away from this guy, because from all the people I've heard, is that the only way to get rid of them is to either have them locked up in jail, which he will have to serve time if the restraining order is true. He'll have some jail time he has to, but he's also sounds like he's the kind of guy that wants to do revenge, and so he's going to make your life miserable.
Possibly,
I
but
mean, I don't know the
that's
individual, I don't know your relationship, but it's something you have to think about.
true.
That
It's right. It's pretty bad, but which is why I'm trying to get my children because
yeah, because
I'm
I
a single
had
parent.
I had one guy that called in, and his fiance had 3 children by a previous marriage, and she divorced her husband, but he was still retaliating, and he's the one that called CPS and made allegations uh, that the guy that wanted to marry the fiance was letting the children eat carpet like billy goats, and it was so ludicrous. But the allegations, see, they need to change that part. I think when allegations made, it should be in writing, and it should be signed by the person make the allegation. That information can be kept confidential, but it still needs to be in writing, because most people, when they write something or tested something, they're going to be honest and truthful about it. And so, for all you listeners out there, we need to change that part, that make allegations that you're innocent to you're proven guilty, and that the allegation should be in writing. Now, uh, teachers and policemen and firemen and professional people are required by law to report incidents of child abuse or neglect, such as seeing children with unusual bruises, coming to school tired, looking like they've lost a lot of weight, clothes that don't fit well, things of that nature. They're going to call by law, they have to. So um, we live in
Right.
a
So I
very
have none of those allegations against me. My son, my eldest son also has autism, and he has a slight speech impairment.
right, right, right. It's really it's a hard, it's not a win-win thing there, but sometimes regroup there. But I have a minute left, and I have to sign off of the show
Yes,
there.
go ahead, Sugar.
But I hope, Melanie, that you're able to get your points across. That I was able to help you with something that could help you, and that I really hope that you get your 2 boys back, because it sounds like you love them dearly and you want to raise them and so forth. For all you listeners out there,
Very much.
if you want an attorney, his name is Vincent W. Davis. He's a professional attorney. He has years experience in fighting CPS. He's a trial attorney. He has won civil suits against CPS, because you can sue them. The number to call in to talk to him is 888-888-6582. Make sure you mention my name, Bob Pace, and he will offer a 30-minute to a 1 hour consultation to talk about strategies of how to fight CPS and win and get your children back. And if you like him, you can retain him. He works in all 50 states, and he works in Northern California as well as Southern California. Amanda, who wrote in a question, is a 3-8 only in California? I don't know. It may be a different number, Amanda, but you can um, you can um, uh, ask your attorney or the court, how do I petition to make a change, Amanda, if that can help you. For all you people there that have written in, Perkins, Vampire Rachel, um, uh, I appreciate you getting there, your comments down there. And Amanda, you have a case for 3 years, and it's taken almost 2 years. Well, mine took 3 years. Melody, who talked on the phone, Red Ski from Australia. You all can call that same number, 888-888-6582, and be a guest speaker. I appreciate if you would do so. If you tried in the past to do it, then my apologies if you're able not to get to do it, but try it again. Again, that number is my office number, and we'd love to hear from you. All you that have listened to Morning and express your views, I feel for you. I really do. And it's happening all over the world. That maybe that our child protection services um, have gone a little bit overboard and trying to make money and so forth in there. So please, all you keep your families together. Your loving parents, no matter the hiccups, they can be resolved. So best of luck to you in the upcoming year. I want much success and happiness come to your way. And I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. This is Bob Pace signing off, and God bless you.